Hi guys, this is Phoenix and I will be casting the Claxon tournament for today. So right now we are going to watch the match between Darky's team and India's finest. We will be live in a few minutes with the match start. Okay, so as you can see in this match, I will talk about the drafts. Looking at the drafts, India's finest have Jean, Amber, and Gale, and they have Colette, Max, and Ruffs. I would say the drafts are pretty even. Possibly India's finest have a little bit better draft, but it can be anyone's match if the drafts are played correctly. So right now India's finest are up one goal, and Darky's team they are pinned in their spawn. They are moving the ball upwards. Darky applying nice pressure from the left flank. When Alpha S should have passed the ball to Venom right there, it could have been a goal. Nevertheless, that was also a missed opportunity on the kill on the Vex. And that's a team wipe for India's finest. Now, max speed, they are pushing up. Counter push for Darky's team. This is their final opportunity. Only 15 seconds left to go. But a double stun from Vex ends all that. And India's finest take this match. Moving on to the next match. You will have to exit the. You have to press exit and then exit. Yeah. So here, as we can see, I feel like Darky's team will have to not open up the map. No, they will have to open up the map so that the Gale becomes useless because without any walls, the Gale can't utilize his stun properly and they can then battle it out at range. Roughs can provide buffs to everyone. And but as we can see, India's fans are pushing. This should definitely be a goal for them. Yes, it is. But as the match proceeds, if they are able to open up the map effectively, I think they can get a goal. But right now, the control seems to be on the side of India's finest. And that's a very nice maneuver in which Jay pulled the Colette while he was mid super, so that cancelled his super. India's finest are once again on the aggressive. Nice push up by Darky. He should have definitely supered the Gale right there. It would have been a confirmed kill. But they got a kill anyways. Now the Max is flanking from the top left. I feel like against a comp like this, Alpha should have been running the sandbags because only the Amber can burn through them, but I think he's running the other gadget. Now they're pushing up the map, but I don't think this will result in a goal. And yes, India's finest take the match. Now we will see. I think this was the second set. because this is a Brawl Ball map and the first set in this round was of Bounty. Okay. Okay guys, this was the first set. So we will be having a second set in a bit. The second set will be on Heist, Hot Potato. The teams are currently in draft. Darky's team name is This is the Devil and the other team's name is Wood. So we will be entering the match in just a minute. The bans are in. The bans are Gale, Penny, and Surge for Ditch the Devil, and Ruff's, Gale, Otis for Team Wood. So I think these are good bans considering the map is Hot Potato. Gale, for I feel like for Ditch the Devil, these bans are intended towards taking a tank since they banned Gale and Surge, which are tank counters, and Penny can also punish tanks heavily with Splash. I feel like that is the same approach for Team Wood as well. Ruff, Scale, Otis. Otis is a very good tank counter as well. So we are likely to see some pretty tank heavy drafts moving ahead. Brawlers like Carl are open. Carl, Bonnie, Bull, Daryl, Rico, Ems, Colette. All these good brawlers are open. The draft can be amongst any of these. A Barley could also be seen as a last pick if there are no wall breaks in account because Ruffs is banned. Griff, although, is open, so whichever team gets the Griff will have a solid tank counter in their hand. We will be entering a match shortly. And here we enter the match. So the drafts are Colette, as I said, BB and Daryl, double tank for Devil's team, and Max double tank for Wood. So on seeing the drafts, honestly, I feel like Darky's team has the draft here since they have a Colette, which is a very good tank counter. Max, however, can speed up the tanks, but I would not say Max is very good into two tanks. And as far as the speed synergy with tanks go, I feel like this is heist and damage is the name of the game. And it doesn't really matter how much control you bring to the table with speeds as long as you're getting damage. And the Devil's team counter like they out damage Team Wood heavily. The Daryl, the Colette, the Daryl is the most damaging brawler on this field right now. For Team Wood's comp to work, the Primo will have to defend all both these tanks, but even then the Colette can punish the Primo, as you can see. It's the Devil hitting. They are performing back with a very good response. We will entering the second match shortly. As you can see, the Ditch the Devil, they are just ignoring the opposition and heading straight for the safe because they know they deal more damage than the opponents. As we can see here, Alpha has clearly ignored Vex and just went up. Venom is also maintaining the aggressive position because they can out DPS. I think this match is already over, and this was a outdraft by Ditch the Devil. Now we will see a third set between these two teams. The third map is Dueling Beetles. On Dueling Beetles, we can see a variety of brawlers like Bonnie, Carl, Squeak, Bo, Janet. Our bans should be in shortly. The bans are Squeak, Otis, and Stu for Ditch the Devil, and Janet, B, and Otis for Team Wood. Seeing these bans, uh, I feel like Ditch the Devil have the first pick because Squeak is usually banned by the team who has a first pick, since Squeak is a very good last pick brawler. Seeing these bans, I feel like Squeak, Otis, Stu, Janet, B, Otis. Bo could be a very solid first pick. Brawlers like Bo, then Carl could be taken to counter Bo. Brawlers like Bo can be taken Carl, Bonnie, Ruffs, Spike. We will be in the match shortly. Uh, I don't see their lobby on my screen. Are we audible right now? So, seeing the drafts, Poco, Bonnie, and Penny for Team Wood, and Lou, Griff, and I can't see the third bowler. It is Colette for Dish the Devil. Honestly, seeing the drafts, once the map opens up, this is a very heavy outdraft for Dish the Devil. But right now they are losing because they are unable to open up the whole map properly, and the Poco and the Bonnie combo is punishing them heavily. But now it's 93% for Team Wood, and I feel like this round is already over. But I feel like if Dish the Devil can execute their draft a bit better, they have a very good chance at getting this match. Entering the next match now. Their execution was kind of fine, honestly, because the Griff had opened their side of the walls, which is the main thing. But they will have to be a bit more effective with the loose supers and the Colette. Like the Colette should here be on the Bonnie, while they have kept the Griff in the mid. And the Lou should be on the Penny, since the Lou can outrange the Penny, and the Griff can be on the Poco. But they are keeping the Colette on the Penny, and the matchups are kind of wrong for the Dish the Devil, and Team Wood is punishing them heavily for that. I feel like Dish the Devil have already given up hope for this match, and Team Wood is free to capture the zone here. It's 1 to 56%. It is still possible if Dish the Devil would try, but I feel like they are just giving up. Yeah, they started spinning, so I think this match is already over. Anyhow, Dish the Devil, they gave a very good try. Speaking in terms of the players, they were kind of underdogs against this matchup, but they performed very well. They took a set, that too very quickly in the heist. So well played to Dish the Devil, and Team Wood will be moving on in the tournament. Next, I think we can spectate the match between Serenity and Aaron's team, Aaron, Vegito, and Manit. Okay, so guys, we are in a game. This is Serenity versus Aaron's team. seeing the comp right now, Serenity is pushing up heavily. That should have definitely been a goal, but nice defense by Vegito and a bit of a throw by the Penny. Seeing the drafts, uh, okay, that's a goal nevertheless. Now looking at the drafts, they have Bo, Max, and Gale, as opposed to a Penny, Jean, and Griff. I would say the drafts are pretty even because the Penny can counter the Jean. No, I mean no. The Penny can be pretty decent into the Gale and the Max, even a Bo honestly, and the Griff also is pretty good into all three. I would say the draft is a little bit on the side of Serenity, and as we can see, they already scored 2 goals. And this set seems to be over. The reason why the draft was a bit on the side of Serenity because the Jean is good into all three. The Penny is also kind of good into all three, and their comp was just better into them. So set 2 will be heist, safe zone, and we will be spectating Serenity versus QC, Veget, and Sis. That's the name. That's the name for Aaron's team. I will just be calling them Aaron's team because calling QC, Vegito, Sis is a very big task for me. So, yeah. Performing very well since these past few weeks. They performed very well in the monthly finals, even though they lost against Blitz, which is a team which holds the capacity to rival the region's representative STE. But even other than that, Serenity have been performing quite well. And Aaron's team also went to the last round of the monthly qualifiers, so they are not to be taken lightly as well. This can be a very good match. And Colette, Griff, and Otis. So seeing these bands, Colette, Griff, and Otis. Okay, guys, we are heading into safe zone, and the bans for the both teams are Daryl B and Carl versus Colette, Griff, and Otis. So seeing these bans seems to be very tank heavy, but it's safe zone, so I would not expect too much tanks coming into this. Brawlers like Carl can be good. We could see some classic long range action with Piper or possibly even Brock if the draft allows that. Buzz could be coming in since Daryl is banned. We could see Max Tank Synergy looking at the bans. Squeak, although not taken too much on this map. We could also see Rico into this. Just waiting for the match to start. So looking at the drafts, Bell, Fang and Bonnie for Alan's team versus 8-bit Sprout and Ruffs. The Sprout is a very surprising pick. I have not seen a Sprout on this map in a very long time. But seeing as the wall break capacity lies on the side of Serenity and they can choose not to open any walls, I think the Sprout pick can work. But it can be dangerous for the Sprout since it is opposed to a Fang and a Bonnie who can both jump on him and are very aggressive options. But Serenity are having a great start. The 8-bit and Ruffs combo is working very well. The only problem I see in Aaron's comp is that the only source of damage they have is the Bonnie with the jump, because the Bell and the Fang won't be able to do that much. And whenever the Bonnie jumps, they have a 8-bit turret sitting on their base, so she can be punished effectively very easily. Plus the Ruffs, and the 8-bit is now buffed by the Ruffs. I feel like the draft lies on the side of Serenity, and the chances of like the bigger problem is that Aaron's team fed the 8-bit turret pretty quickly. If they played a passive game and didn't feed the 8-bit turret and the Ruffs to so many buffs, they could have still had a fighting chance. But now the Sprout is in their spawn, the 8-bit and the Ruffs are up running. They don't have much stuff to counter it. The only hope for them is if Aaron can make a big play, or Manit, and Manit can capitalize on the save. But even then, Bonnie is good for one jump 15%, but she doesn't have the consistent DPS to turn this match around. And the match is over, and we will be heading to the next match. As I said, I feel like Aaron's team will have to play a bit passive as to not feed the 8-bit turret, and they are going quite aggressive, but they are not feeding too much, so that's good. But they got punished in the aggression, and the Sprout is now pushing up, which can be a very big trouble for them since they have no way of breaking the walls, and the Sprout in that corner can easily abuse them. Now right here the 8-bit is very likely to get his turret eventually. How he is marked, however. But okay, a nice push by Aaron's team. Fang and the Bonnie both jumped onto the safe. The 8-bit has his turret. He placed it, and the turret should definitely be destroyed. A very nice play by Aaron, and they are up in the safe. This is exactly the kind of play that was needed by Aaron's team to turn this game around. They are in the spawn and being aggressive. Here I feel like Aaron, okay, he went for the shot and got a super. That was a very good play by Aaron. And I think this match should surely be in the side of Vegeto's favor. Yeah, that is. Now it is still match point for Serenity, but I think Aaron's team could turn this around. However, even though they won the last match, I feel like this will still be very difficult. The one play where they killed the 8-bit and the Ruffs, and both the Bonnie and the Fan got to wail on the safe, that play won them the game. But their Serenity is a smart team, and I don't think they will be giving them this kind of opportunity again. So let's see. Yeah, Manit is low. The Sprout is punishing him very effectively, but the 8-bit does not have much of a turret till now, so that at least that is there. The Sprout, however, is pushing up heavily from the left side. Yes, Aaron rushed in. That was a nice dash. It would have been even better if the third connection would have went straight up to the safe so that they could have capitalized and got some damage, but that's just game mechanics and a bit of unluck. So right here, Aaron went for the turret straight to the safe. Very nice. Manit also jumping in. and straight away gets blasted by the Ruff's gadget. This is still fine. Aaron did some damage and got one kick to his super. But now the 8-bit turret is placed in the aggressive position. The gadget, which allows 8-bits to shoot so many more bullets, was very well tanked by Aaron's team. The G2 needs to place this mark on the 8-bit to handle it properly. Manith, I feel like Manith should have definitely jumped on the safe right now. Would have gotten at least 20%, even more if he could have juked his way around. But he waited for Aaron. I think that is also a respectable decision. Now they are waiting for Aaron to get his super, and Manith and Aaron will jump in together for one last push. They already have the lead, but they still need the one last push. Okay, now both of them have their supers. This is looking very good for Aaron's team. Serenity need to make a play, but okay, Aaron went straight up, killed the 8-bit. The Ruffs will also die. Aaron should straight up dash. They are still in the lead, and this game goes to Aaron's team. Very well played by them. And now we'll be moving on to the third set. Okay, so guys, the bans are in. The bans are B, Sam, Fang, and Otis, Bell, and Jean. The map is Bell's Rock, and looking at the bans, Piper is definitely open for pickups. Okay, the match we entered into the match. I am very surprised to not see a Piper on the field, but okay. Uh, Bo, Sprout, and Max versus Grom, Janet, and Bonnie. Seeing the drafts, I heavily side with the draft on the side of Serenity. I feel like Max is quite underwhelming, and especially with a Sprout and a Bo, the synergy just doesn't fit in. However, Aaron is pushing up and he got a double kill. That's a very good play, and Aaron's team now should definitely win this round. But still, I feel like Serenity heavily have the draft because Janet counters Bo. Bonnie can definitely put up against a Max, and Sprout honestly is a better thrower than Grom, but I feel like even Grom is a pretty decent thrower, and Serenity have the better comp. However, a very good play by Aaron gives them the first round. Let's see what they do now. So Aaron is saving his super for when the poison kicks in so that they can have speed and push up on them. It's a slow paced game with Crescent pushing up against Aaron. He does not want to feed the Bonnie super, and a very good super by D Skills, which should have been a kill, but D Skills missed one shot on Vegito, and Aaron is going for a play. The flank on Captain and the kill. And but now I think Crescent can get a trade, and he does. And another kill onto Manit. I think this secures the round for Serenity. I don't think a Max can do a 1v2 unless Aaron decides otherwise. He's not giving up. He wants a super and he will fight for it. And he got a super. I feel like he should just die and he will do this that. So yeah, he didn't feed the Grom and he got a super. Very well played by Aaron. Now the bow also has his mines. He placed them right away, but I feel like he could have waited until the poison started kicking in so that there would be a lot less space to juke the mines. Right now, I feel like they can be diffused quite comfortably. However, these will prevent Serenity from pushing up in that spot. So these skills also has a super. The Grom super is very influential, except especially when they wait for the poison to kick in. There's just so little space to juke it and it covers such a large area. The Bonnie jumped in on the Sprout, the wall is missed, and it's a trade. Aaron going up for the play. He got tagged quite heavily. He's very low. And the kill comes into in. And I don't think Manit can do much here. This should definitely be the game for Serenity. Yeah. Now going into the second match. Okay, so they did make one adaptation. They put the bow on the Bonnie and the max on the Janet, which I think is definitely good. Bow can maintain his range and punish the Bonnie heavily. And Max is, I think, decent enough into a Janet. I wouldn't say it's a win-win matchup for anyone. It's a 50-50 Max versus Janet. But the bow versus Bonnie, honestly, even that is a 50-50. Depends on who plays it better. Manit pushing up very aggressively. I feel like he should have been punished there, but he manages to come out alive. Crescent has a super. He should, I feel like right here, yeah, he goes on the jump on Manit but misses the jump. That is a misplay by Crescent. Vegito is low. He should stay alive and pinch Crescent and put him out of that spot. And yeah, Aaron dies. I Vegito is very low. Had he been a bit more healthy, I feel like he could have pinched out Crescent and they could have still managed to turn it around. Okay, Yash has his, Aaron has his speed and they speed up and they are moving up the map quite fast. Aaron chooses to go onto the Bonnie's face and still manages to come out alive. That was some heavy aggression by Aaron's team, but not necessarily rewarded too much. I feel like that just put them into a more precarious position and Crescent punished on their positioning, and I think both of them know it. Serenity won this match. Well played to Aaron's team. They put up a fight against Serenity. Very well played to both the teams. Serenity will be moving on in the tournament. I think we can spectate the match. All three matches going on right now are good. I think we can spectate Orca versus Ash King's match. Now I'm gonna spectate Pratik's team versus Troy's team. I'm just gonna call that for now. Call them that for now. Looking at the drafts, B, Griff, and Carl versus a Ruffs, Poco, and a Max. I seeing these drafts, I heavily side onto the draft of Yash, Ashking, and Troy. They can open up the map. They have a B, they have a Griff versus a Poco and a Max. Ruffs also Carl into Ruffs. This is like a very heavy outdraft, and that clearly represents on the scoreline. I don't even think there are enough stars on the field right now for them to make a comeback. And Yash with a nice play. Should have gotten the kill on Orca. Okay, gets it, gets it. Now, I think this round is definitely going to be won by Ash King, Troy, and Yash. Both of these rosters are kind of mixed up. I mean, but nevertheless, this match is done for. The only way that Pratik, Orca, and IR White win this matchup if they get an early lead and punish their opponent's comp while the map is not opened up. Because once the map gets opened up, it is near impossible for them to do anything. A B and a Griff versus a Poco and a Max, that's just done for. Okay, so they don't even have the first star, and Orca dies instantly, and another kill comes through. I feel like this is already not looking very good for them. I also feel like they should have sent the Poco mid since he has more survivability and could have punished the B better and gotten the star too. A Max against a Griff is also a better matchup. A Griff versus a Poco, however, is not favorable for the Poco. The Max can, however, juke around the Griff pretty easily and win. So I feel like this is a fault on the side of Pratik and Orca's team to not keep the matchups right. As far as the roughs on the car, yeah, like the Carl counters the roughs pretty bad. The perfect matchups would be the Max on the Carl, the roughs on the Griff, and the Poco in the mid. But right now it's 15-0 and 50 seconds left. Technically it's still possible, but things are not looking good for Pratik's team. However, they are pushing up the map. They're pushing them into their spawn. Pratik, nice heal. gets the kill on the Carl. 9 to 17. There is 9 stars on the map. So if they get a team wipe, it's still possible. But Max needs the speed, Poco needs his super, Ruffs needs to be pushing up. Just 20 seconds left. I don't see any of those win conditions coming in. I see the Carl super, I see a B super. I don't see Orca's team winning this round. And yes, Troy, Yash, and Ash King win the set. And they move ahead in the tournament, and Orca's team is out of the mix. Now we will be spectating Team Wood versus Blitz. This is a very good match. Both the teams are very decorated in terms of their performances. All the players are well known. We have Vex, CZK, and X9J versus Sergeant, Prashant, and Crux. Index 9J, GMD, CZK, Vex, Crux, Prashant, Sergeant. IND, X9J, GMD, CZK, IND, Vex, BZ, Prashant, Crux, ST, Sergeant. No, FS Shan. He is at 41.8k trophies. Spectate any of IND, X9J, CGK, that those guys, or you don't have any of them. They're also in the match. Okay, spectate Shan. No, he's not in a match. Okay, guys, we are getting into a match. We will be spectating final stand versus, I will call Magma's Team Mystic because he's a member of Team Mystic. I don't know what his team's name right now. Seeing the comps, it's Canal Grande, Sprout, Gale, and a Bow versus Ruffs, Penny, and Griff. I don't understand the purpose of the Gale against any of those brawlers, but Final Stand do seem to be winning right now. Even though I don't understand the purpose of the Gale, the Sprout counters all three. The Griff will need to open up the map, otherwise, I don't think Magma's team can do anything against the Sprout. And they have failed to open up any of the sides till now. Because the thing is that with the Sprout, they can easily enter the bush, and Canal Grande, it's all about bush control. The Gale was also very strong for getting into the bush. Okay, Fahim now finally opened up one side, but still, the thing about Sprout is also that he can make his own balls. So, uh, but now Magma also opened up one side, and they are pushing up. Right now, there are 13 stars with a blue star on the field. So if they get a team wipe, they will win. They have just the enough amount of stars for a win. But they will need to push up right now. And the Sprout and the Bow are doing a very good job at the keeping them from getting spawn trapped. And Ari with the play secures that final stand takes the round. If the Griff can get the wall breaks a bit early, I feel like Mystic have a very good chance of winning this too. Because once the map is opened up, Mystic can punish them pretty heavily. If the Penny gets a super going and the Griff starts chaining supers, they can do a lot of work. The Gale should essentially be useless in an open map. But Shan's team are pushing up one side. Okay, Fahim finally opened up the wall. Nice start by Mystic. Fahim going a bit too over aggressive, gets punished. I feel like that was unnecessary. Magma also dying. He couldn't do much at that point. Ayush alive, trying to get his super. One shot. Fahim and Magma are trying to push up in the same lane in which Final Stand already have the control. And there's 3 mines placed on the left bush, which Ayush, if he defuses, will open up the map, and that will be good for Mystic. Even if those mines weren't placed, I feel like the Griff should definitely have went over to the left and open up that side too, so that they could have it on hill. But they are choosing to keep the Penny, have the control with the bush. Maybe that's a wise decision because Penny lacks the range to compete against a Bow or a Gale in an open map. Not a Gale necessarily, but a Bow definitely. Even Sprout has a much larger range than Penny. So maybe keeping bush control on one side isn't the end of the world. Shan, however, is pushing up, and there is that one mine lurking, which can be very detrimental for Magma's team. They do have the lead, however, and pushing into that Griff and Ruffs with a Sprout and Bow can be pretty tough. So if Ayush just holds his bush, which he has failed to do so, that it's kind of okay, and they get the kill on the onto Magma, and I think this game is done for Final Stand. Seeing the spins, I think Final Stand won this match, and they move on ahead in the tournament. I feel like Mystic had a decent comp, and they could have definitely won that round if the execution was done a bit better. Yes, yes. Spectate SLN. Okay, SLN captain is not in a game now. Wait for this sergeant. This Slayer's team. I will call them that for now. Seeing the comps, they have a Gale, Griff, and an Amber versus a Rico. I have never seen a Rico on this map ever, and an Eve. Seeing the comps, I heavily side onto the comp of Serenity. I feel like Rico is very bad on this map. So is Eve. Eve has fallen out of the meta a lot, and Serenity is wailing on the safe. The Lola is a decent pick, but it's heavily countered by the Amber, and Serenity is just wailing on the safe. I feel like this match is already done for. For the Rico to be effective, I feel like he has to reach their opponent's bottom right square. Because if once he gets into that, he can be very tricky to get out of. But then Serenity also have a wall break, so that also should not be much of a problem for them. I think now we will be going into spectating Sergeant versus Ash King's team, which is Blitz versus OK. Okay, guys, so we are in the match. This is the semi-finals, and it's Blitz Esports versus OK. So, looking at the comps, Blitz have Piper, Carl, and Janet versus a Bonnie, Griff, and a Penny. The Penny is kind of good into the Janet because of the turret and her general mechanics. The Carl is pretty good into the Bonnie. Like he just punished her right now. I feel like the Piper can easily beat the Bonnie mid without feeding the Bonnie much. The Griff isn't particularly good into Janet or Piper, but I think Griff can be pretty good into a Carl. So I think the drafts are kind of balanced on both sides. Both have their own strengths and weaknesses, and both can win if played properly. But Sargent is cracked on the Piper, and right now they have a lead with 8 versus 3, and Sargent dies. Crux is forced to take the gems. I honestly wouldn't say forced because the gems were in their spawn, and Mystic OK would not have dared to go there and get the gems. So I feel like Crux should have not picked them up and let Sargent pick them up, because now he can't go for an aggressive play as Janet. Uh, he can't use his super to go up and get a kill on someone, but they get the countdown. And since the OK have just 7 gems, they can't reset, and one player down, it's not seeming likely that they will be able to reset, and Blitz take the first game. We'll be heading into the second game shortly. Into it. Uh, Now they have changed the matchups by putting the Penny on the Carl and the Griff on the Janet. I think that's a wise decision, because even though Carl wins Penny, but he is more likely to feed the Penny than a Janet. So, and the Penny turret is kind of a win condition for Blitz team. And if the Carl chooses to not feed the Penny whatsoever, then he will be forced to stay back. Uh, and right now he went up and he ended up in feeding the Penny turret. And now Blitz have a lot of control with a Penny turret in hand. Yash, it seems Yash is lagging and he's AFK. Carl with the Russian, I feel like there should be a kill on the gem carrier, and Trashant is able to run away with the gems. I feel like OK would have definitely won this match had it not been for Yash's unfortunate disconnect. But it seems like it seems like Blitz will be taking this set. Sergeant with the spins. This is really unfortunate. Yash Yash has been having a lot of connection issues these days. We can spectate Serenity versus Final Stand in the meantime. They are in a match. We can spectate Serenity captain. Okay, so Serenity are up one goal. It is beach ball, and they have a Spike, Griff, and a Penny versus a Ruffs, two, and I can't see the third brawler. It is a Gale. Seeing the comps, I feel like Serenity have a better comp. The Penny with her. The Penny versus Stu, I would say, is 50-50, if not a little bit on the side of the Stu, but like it's hard for the Stu to win the Penny without feeding her a turret, so there's that. Spike definitely wins Gale, and Ruffs versus a Griff is also kind of 50-50. And then if the lane was closed, it would have definitely been the Ruffs winning the match, but since Captain can open up the lane, he has a very good chance at winning the lane. Now they're switching up the matchups by putting the Ruffs on Spike and Gale on Griff, which is a very smart decision. Ruffs definitely counters Spike, and Gale can do pretty decent against a Griff. It was one last push, but Serenity held their defense strong, and they will take this game. It's 1-1 for both the teams. We will we'll now be spectating Sergeant since they are in their first match, or I think we can spectate Serenity with the last match of their first set. I think let's finish the set for Serenity versus final stand. Yes. So in this round they are keeping the Ruffs on the Spike and the Gale on the Griff. The Gale has prevented the Griff from even pushing up the map to break it open. That's a good job by Shan. Abhishek is helping his lane so that he's not able to break the wall. Ari is having troubles pushing up against the Spike. Abhishek is quite cracked on this too. He's been performing very well these days. The Gale lost his lane to Captain. Captain is pushing up heavily. In this scenario, all they can do is just hold and wait for one of them to make a play so that space is created and they can move up the map. One trade gives them the space. A nice stun by Shan with Abhishek helping. Helps them confirm the kill. Nice wall break by Ari to break the wall and destroy the penny turret. Abhishek with some nice dashes and combo to kill the penny. A very nice push by final stand, but a very nice kill by Crescent prevents that push from turning into a goal. Had he not killed that Ruffs, the Ruffs would have passed on to this too and it would have definitely been a goal. So very well played by Crescent. Captain with a super. I feel like it could have been used to get a bit more value, but it still created space for them, and Crescent with a nice kill on the Gale creates even more breathing space for them. Abhishek still maintaining the aggro position. Abhishek and Ari are holding the line pretty good. The Gale comes back into the mix. Ari with a nice skill onto Captain and a buff line on ground, and he takes it. Abhishek should die here. Yes, he manages to stay alive. All three are alive for final stand for the overtime, along with the Gale super, which is massive, but he rushes it and dies to the penny, which is very bad. And now the penny will be very close to her super, and that turret can be very annoying in overtime. But if they are cautious, I think they can manage to not feed the penny turret, but they gave her another shot, and the penny gets her turret. Now I think it can be very troublesome for final stand. A Spike and a Griff in overtime. I feel like Serenity definitely have the OT comp. It is important to notice, however, that Crescent is running Fertilize and not Curveball, which is a very odd choice of star power since there are no tanks involved. But the only reason I can think of it is because the lanes are built such that the normal Fertilize shots can pinch better on a person standing just behind the wall. But it seems that this match is a tie. A very, very tight set between these two very closely matched teams. We will enter another game between Serenity versus Final Stand. Now they reverse the matchups by keeping the Ruffs onto the Griff and Gale on the Spike. Since the Ruffs versus Spike was not working how they intended in the last game, they put the Ruffs onto the Griff, and the Ruffs is doing quite a good job and has not and has prevented the Griff from pushing up and opening up the map. The reason why Ruffs was not able to counter Spike in the last match is because he is running the Meteor's gadget and not the sandbags, which is because Serenity have a penny. In the current meta, there's just too many brawlers which destroy the sandbags way too easily. So the Meteor's gadget is usually the preferred choice these days. A nice stun by Shan keeps him alive and he's able to get the kill onto the Spike. Right now, Serenity are pushed quite back, but they do have a penny turret, so they can push up eventually. A wasted Griff super by Captain, and Ari has a super. This should definitely turn into a goal with Ari opening up the wall and Abhishek doing the score, and it is. Now Serenity have to respond with a goal of their own. The thing is that Captain is not able to break the lanes because if he goes to the outside to break the wall, Abhishek will punish him and pinch along with his teammate. And in the lane, the Gale and the Ruffs can block the lane pretty well. In the match where he was able to break open the lanes, Serenity had won that match. However, they do get a nice kill onto the Ruffs, and Captain is now able to break open that wall since Abhishek was pushed back. Final last push for Serenity, and Ari has a super, a nice defense. Crescent is very close to the goal, but he dies, and the smash goes to final stand. A very, very close set between these two teams, and final stand are now one set up. Next, we will be spectating the match between Blitz and
That's versus okay.
Blitz versus
Yes.
OK. Is this a best of five? Okay, guys, we are going into second game of heist set in Blitz versus OK. Looking at the comps, Blitz have Amber, Poco, and Bonnie versus Squeak, Crow, and a Carl on the side of OK. Seeing the drafts, I feel like a Carl is pretty good into Bonnie and a Poco, and but it seems as if OK have given up. There's no time for me to talk about the match when the team gives up. So well, it seems like Blitz will be moving on to the finals, and OK will be out in the semis. We will be spectating Serenity versus Final Stand in just a bit. The bands, the map will be Canal Grande. We'll be spectating them short. Games between Mystic versus OK. Okay, so I feel like if the problem with the OK's comp is that the only source of damage is the Carl and a Squeak super possibly if they manage to do that. The Carl is doing a good job by going into that pocket. It will be very hard for I mean Blitz to get him out of that corner. The Carl should definitely stay alive there. The Squeak and the Crow can definitely manage the Bonnie. The Bonnie managed to jump up but gets killed by a very nicely timed super by Ash King. They are choosing to ignore the Amber, which is a very wise decision because how even though Amber has a decent DPS for killing brawlers, she doesn't have a decent DPS for killing the safe because her ammo reload is quite slow. Now the match is still quite close. It's any team's game for now. If Troy can manage to make a play and get on to the safe once again, I think it will be good for it can be game for OK, but a nice jump from the Bonnie and a push from Amber and a 20% deficit into a winning game. And with this, they win the set and move on to the finals. Not yet this time, last time we fought. I am sorry. So we will be spectating Serenity versus Final Stand. Final Stand is up one set, and this set will be Canal Grande. Okay, Serenity and Final Stand are in, and we will be going in shortly. And we're in the match. Looking at the comps, we have a Penny, Surge, and a Ruffs versus Otis, Jean, and Carl. The Surge is very good into the Carl, but if Final Stand manage to not feed the Surge, which they have managed pretty well till now, I think it can be very rough for Serenity. The Carl is very good into the Penny and the Ruffs. The Jean pull has a lot of pressure, and Otis can shut down any aggression from the Surge if that becomes the case. Otis has pretty decent range and a very healthy amount of damage. If they manage to not feed the Penny and the Surge Supers, I think this is easily final stands game. And as we can see, they are up 9-0 right now. Nice pull, but that did end up feeding the Penny one, maybe two shots. Surge also has, I think, one, maybe two shots, but this is fine because there's only 50 seconds left into the game, and we still have a level 1 Surge roaming around the field. He is using the other gadget, but still, Final Stand have managed to not feed him pretty well. He finally gets his second stage, but it's way too late into the game for the Surge to be getting his second stage now. He needed his third stage. He has gotten his third stage now. Now they're up 17 to 20. The match is suddenly gotten very close and intense. Serenity have one last push and they could definitely get the comeback. A very nice pinch, just a 1-star deficit, and the gene is very low, but they get it. And the penny splash gets it, and Serenity win the match. This was a very nice comeback by Serenity. Even though the penny and the Surge Supers came in very late, they managed to capitalize on them, and that made them win the match. Final Stand will have to be more careful about not feeding, and as I say that, they already feed the penny 2-3 shots and they are in the deficit. The penny already has their turret set up and they don't have both the bushes locked in. Crescent is spinning, he knows it. This match, it will be very tough to come back for Final Stand because bush control is the name of the game on this map, and Final Stand don't have either of the bushes. They are pushing up on one side, but Ari is getting punished heavily, and they are just feeding kills one after the other. And this is not looking good for Final Stand whatsoever. A very nice play by Serenity at the start of this match to notice that even though the Carl has the flying hook, they can still take a lot of shots of the Carl and punish him for taking that blue star. A nice super by the Carl. He manages to get it out alive. It's just a 5-star deficit. It's definitely possible. They do take the control of the left bush, but a penny and rough pinching and the Carl being low makes them leave the bush. And with Crescent already on stage 3, this is not looking good for Final Stand. They can't send the Carl and the Otis on the third side because he will punish them heavily. So they are keeping the right matchups at the right places. But since, even if you have the right matchups, having the bush control is just an immense disadvantage. Abhishek with a nice try, but Crescent manages to prevent that Carl Super from being much of a threat, and I think with this it is almost impossible for Final Stand to get back the lead, and with this Serenity equalize the sets and we will be moving on to the third set. As I said, these both teams are very closely matched and this is going to be an intense match between these two. match. The map is Bell's Chalk, and we have Grom, Lola, and Bonnie for Serenity versus a Bo, Carl, and a Piper for final stand. I feel like the Piper lane wins pretty much all lanes on this map, so that's very good for final stand. And I feel like Bo is pretty good into Bonnie and Lola too. And then the Carl mid versus the Grom. The Carl can anytime gadget onto the Grom and punish him. So I feel like the draft lies on the side of final stand. Although it is winnable for Serenity, but they have to survive till the end game with all three players alive because the Grom needs protection from the Carl. Even now, it is very possible for Serenity to win this round. Tran needs to hit shots, but he missed. I think Abhishek can get the kill on Captain. If he can juke D skills, I think. Oh my god, but D skills with very nice taps. I feel like Abhishek should have been able to juke a Grom in the open, but very nice taps from D skills results in a win for Serenity. But saying again, an open lane for a Piper. However, the Lola ego can make a difference. The ego is now dead, and Captain is doing a very nice job at winning the Piper lane. I feel like right here Crescent should jump on the bow, but he chooses not to, and he does, and that was albeit a bit too late and a little bit mis-aimed. Should have been more on top of the bow, but looking at this matchup, I feel like Captain definitely has the advantage. He has the positioning advantage. He's in the middle. He has his ego up and running. Ari doesn't have any mines to work with. If Captain didn't have his ego, Ari could have done something, but I think that was not there was not much Ari could have done in that scenario. I think final stand just need to take it slow and just play their normal game, and if they have the right matchup, they should be able to win. They should keep the bow on the Lola and the Piper on the Bonnie because the Bonnie has a pretty slow movement speed but a lot of HP. The Piper can outrange the Bonnie heavily, but the bow can't outrange her as heavily as a Piper. So bow will definitely end up feeding the Bonnie while the Piper can punish the Bonnie without feeding her. And once the Lola gets Rigo, it can be very tough for the Piper while the bow has splash shots and a lot more DPS than the Piper, so the ego is not a much of a problem for him. Shan has opened up one side of the map, which is good for final stand since they are against a Grom. And an open map for a thrower is a recipe for disaster. Nice taps by Shan. He's moving up the map. D skills with some nice tags kept Serenity in the game. Nice taps by Shan again, but the bow falls. Abhishek also falls, and Shan also falls, and Serenity Esports are on match point. Match point, match game, whatever you call it. Serenity are just one round of knockout away from the finals, but I feel like final stand can definitely take this away from them. Abhishek with some aggression, and the bow dies. Abhishek also dies. This 1v3 is impossible. Shan knows it. The pins come in, and Serenity take this match and move on to the grand finals. Very well played to final stand, but they end up getting out in the semifinals. So our finals will be Blitz Esports versus Serenity Esports, and this is going to be a banger of a match. We have third, fourth place match also. I'll have to cast that too.
Only if
Okay, guys, we will be spectating the finals now, which is Blitz versus Serenity Esports. They have entered the draft. The map is double swoosh. The bans are in, which is Amber, Squeak, and Bo for Blitz, and Jean, Otis, and Janet for Serenity. Looking at the bans, it seems to me that Blitz definitely have the first pick. So looking at all these bans, I feel like Poco, Stu, Carl, possibly a Pam. All these are very good options. Then as the draft proceeds, we could also be seeing a Ruffs, or if they decide to go with it, possibly pair it with a tank, a Poco and a tank maybe. Griff, however, is open, Gale is open, so we do have tank counters in play too. The drafts can be pretty interesting for this one. But knowing Blitz and their gameplay, I feel like they will most probably go for the Poco first pick. That's just my prediction. Let's see if I'm right, guys. Or maybe if I am also a victim of the caster's curse. So we will be going into the game shortly. We are in. We will be spectating. We will be getting into the match in just a bit. Yes, Sergeant. Yes, yes. Okay, guys. So yeah, we are in the match. As I said, and I was right, guys. We have a Poco pick from STE, so I am right. I think that Poco pick would have been responded by a Stu and a Carl, which would have been responded by the B and the Colette with a final Lola pick. Because Lola counters B and is pretty decent into a Colette. So a nice play by D-Skills gets the kill on the gem carrier, but Prashant manages to save the day. And he is using the shield star power, which is questionable for me because I feel like the knockback is just a lot more meta these days. But that's personal preference, I guess. Nice push with the Poco and the Colette. The Poco Colette synergy can go a long way because with the shield and the Poco heals, the Colette can be quite unkillable. The Carl is essentially useless in this matchup unless he goes on the B, which would also be a bad idea since Lola will struggle against the Colette then. But I feel like that is the only way Serenity can adapt so that they win because Lola doesn't get countered by Colette as hard as Carl gets countered by Colette. And Carl can, once he gets a super, he can easily gadget onto a B and win his lane. And a B and a Poco are very easy kills for a Carl. which will be available for him on the right lane, but they are not changing the matchups. So I think what their approach in the mind would be that if Prashant pushes up too much, Crescent would help these skills to pinch out the Colette, but now it's too late and the Colette is in the bush, which is some questionable approach by Serenity, but they do manage to get the kill onto the Poco, but over-aggression by Crescent results in them giving away the 4 gem lead, but Diesel with a nice play gets the kill on the gem carrier, but he dies also, so now Blitz will get all the gems on the field. Now it's a 7-0 lead for Blitz with a Colette in the bush against a Carl. This is not looking good for Serenity whatsoever. As I said, the Stu has to either help the Carl versus the Colette because with a speed gear and her gotcha gadget, it's very hard, near impossible for a Carl to do anything against a Colette lane. And with this, I think the first set clearly goes to Blitz. Serenity with some mistakes, but they definitely can take this back from Blitz. We will get to see more in the next round. Both of these teams are very coded. Sergeant, Prashant, I do not know much about Crux, but I think it's some other player I don't have an idea about. But Sergeant and Prashant are very coded players. Sergeant won the SESA monthly finals, which happened yesterday. Prashant was in the semi-finals. Both are from, I would say, Sergeant is definitely in the team which is going to Worlds from our region, so good luck to him. And Prashant is in a team which has been giving a tough competition to the stalwart esports in the BSC. Serenity has also been performing very well since the last few months. They managed to they didn't manage to quite reach the semi-finals last in yesterday's month. They were up against Blitz, not this roster, but Prashant, Pratik, and Tuffin, which is the team which has been giving Stalwart Esports the most competition in these days. So this match is one banger. Second set, we have Safe Zone. The bans will be in shortly. This year for Brawl Esports, I feel like it's grown a lot more in SESA. There have been a lot more tourneys. Big thanks to Macherino because we used to have CRX Brawl scrims, which used to happen like every month, which kept the population of SESA going up and running in the competitive scene. In between, there was literally nothing except for BSC. But then Macherino tourneys came around, Claxon came around, and now we have a good up and running circuit for tourneys. There are still no decently big and consistent tourneys for SESA, as albeit the Queso Cup. There is then like at least it's been announced that there's gonna be an ESL for India. However, we have been waiting on that announcement forever. Let's hope that it comes soon. Big shout out to all the people who donated for this tournament. It's a very nice concept that's been added by Matcherino, community run tournaments with funds increased by the community. And they are in the game. We will be going into the game shortly. And we're in.
Hey, enough about you.
The comps are Bonnie, Griff, and Fang versus a Piper, Otis, and an Amber. I feel like the Fang has quite a nice matchup until the Otis gets super. If the Fang supers in when the Otis does not have a super to respond with, the Fang can be a very big threat. However, the Amber counters Griff very badly because she has a lot of movement speed and Griff can have a lot of trouble hitting Amber. Crux missed his super. Piper is also kinda good into Bonnie, but I feel like Bonnie, once she gets super and she can jump in like that and get a decent amount of percentage, just like that. And Captain is opening up the map, which is personally very questionable to me, since Piper and the Amber can punish them very heavily. And a notice, opening up the map is only detrimental for them and the Fang. Descent with a nice dash, he moves up, de-skills with some pressure onto the Piper. He's using his HP to push the Piper back, even though he took many shots. The Piper is only 3-shot material for the Bonnie. Again pushing up, he should definitely jump in, and he does. And the Otis marks her, and that makes her jump absolutely useless. Now Prashant and Sergeant pushing up. All three of Blitz players alive. They are in a deficit, however. So Serenity just has to defend, and I think they have very good defensive capabilities with a Grip Super and a Fang Super. They can defend pretty well. And a nice jump by the Bonnie and nice kill. DSQ stays alive. Double stun by the Fang and a very good play by Serenity, which I think this almost finishes the match in their favor. I don't think Blitz has the potential to come back for a 30% deficit. They are trying, however. It is still possible, just 20%. Can Blitz get it? 40%. But Serenity was very successful defense and they get the match. A very well played match by Serenity. We will be going into the next game. The Fang with some very nice plays. The Otis was not able to shut down the Fang as effectively as I thought it would. It's hard for the Otis to have a super at all times. It's much easier for a Fang to have a super. I feel like Blitz should play this slow and not feed the Bonnie and the Fang too much. Because if they keep control and push at the last second without feeding them much, I think they definitely have the game. But if the Fang and Bonnie get supers, it's very hard for Blitz to prevent both of them from making a play, even if Otis has a super, because he can only stop one of them. If you stop the Fang, the Bonnie will finish you. If you stop the Bonnie, the Fang will finish you up. So Blitz has to be very careful in feeding both of them supers at the same time. Nice dodges by Prashant to not feed that Bonnie. Till now, no one has a super, and a missed curve by Prashant, which can be detrimental. And the Bonnie gets the jump, and he gets the kill on the Sergeant, but Prashant gets the trade back. But he feeds the Fang, and the Fang gets one kill and gets traded by the Otis. A nice timing for the Otis to have a super, another super, and he shuts down the Griff as well. The Otis is doing wonders for Blitz right now. But DSQ is pushing up from the right side. He gets a super. He's very low. He should heal up, but he dies. Sergeant with a very nice kill, and he's pushing up from the right lane. And he feeds the Fang super, and Crescent takes advantage of that immediately. He is in that right pocket, and he can be very hard to get out of because Blitz do not have any ability to peek around the walls. I think Prashant should definitely break that wall so that the Fang would get punished much easily. However, they did manage the situation. and Serenity are losing this match quite heavily right now. They have a 60% deficit, and I feel like just 30 seconds into this match, it's very hard for Serenity to come back into this one. It is technically possible if they were on the save, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. Prashant with a nice jump, killing the Fang, and I don't see any signs of life from Serenity to see this comeback happening. The thing with Serenity's comp is that they have to keep going in and getting consistent damage. Neither of the comps have a burst damage potential too much for a last push. So whichever team will be having the better consistent damage throughout the game will have the better chance. Serenity do technically have one. If all three of them start wailing on the save, they can get a lot of damage in a very small amount of time. But then they are against an Otis and an Amber which can punish them pretty heavily. Captain broke the wall, he's moving up the map. D-Skills needs to get his super for their comp to work, and he needs to be jumping in regularly to keep Blitz on their toes. Recent also, he's seeking his super. Used a curve to just keep D-Skills a little bit low and keep him back. Till now, the game is at quite a stalemate. D-Skills does have a super, but he's choosing not to jump, which I think is a wise decision. He can't jump into three people, he will die, and he needs to save those jumps for save damage. However, Prashant is wailing on the safe and getting taps onto Crescent and D-Skills. Crescent and D-Skills both have their supers, they're looking for a play to make, and a nice super and a nice jump. I think there should definitely be a lot of damage for Serenity. And Crescent is in their spawn with Captain also pushing up and a nice super from him. But we have Prashant wailing on the Serenity safe too. Crescent left that position, went for the safe again. Nice dash by him. And another kick in. And this match is very, very close. A nice jump in from DSK. He should get 3 shots into. And now the lead shifts to Serenity. This match is very close. I am running out of breath because so much stuff is happening. Nice mark from Crux onto Captain. I think if Serenity are unable to defend this push, this might be over for them. They are able to just hold this shit. It is, however, very slim for Serenity. Only 8% left on this space, while Blitz is pushing up even more, and that's game, set, and match, and tournament to Blitz Esports. GG's well played to Serenity. They get the second place. The third and the fourth place match is also going on between Final Stand and OK. I think we can spectate that. We can spectate Final Stand Shran, FS Shran. Okay, so the map. What is this map? Okay, this seems to be Backyard Bowl. And we have the comps Crow, Griff, and a Poco versus a Piper, Max, and Amber. I feel like Ash King's team definitely have the comp. A Poco, like, okay, that's set over for. Okay. So let me just check if this was the first set or if this was 1-1 for both, or let me just check the score 1 second. Okay, this was the first set. Now we will be going into the second set for OK versus Final Stand. Okay, guys, so we are heading into the game. We have Surge, Penny, and Gale versus a Bee, Griff, and a Bonnie. Final stand with a very nice start, but I think that is fine because OK have a kind of a late game comp where they open up the map and then they will benefit heavily from it. They have done a nice job to not feed in the Surge any levels up until now. As long as they they manage to open up the map and not feed the Surge levels, they always have a chance to come back. But the Surge gets his second level but also dies. But the lead still lies in the favor of final stand. A nice stun by Ari. Could not capitalize on that. They have to make most of this comp until Abhishek does not have range. Troy with some nice stabs and a kill onto Abhishek. And a nice pinch by Troy and Yash results in a double kill for Team Mystic with a lead for them. I mean, not Team Mystic. Okay, sorry. Guys, okay is a very weird name. So, I will be calling them Team Mystic from now on. So, sorry about that. Now, the lead switches back to final stand. Surge now has his third stack, I think, which is very good for final stand. However, Team Mystic are pushing up, but a nice kill by Abhishek. He's been popping off as of lately, and I don't think they can come back into this. They need 7 stars, which is possible, but it's just not looking likely. Now heading into the second game, I feel like Team Mystic definitely have to open up the map a lot quicker, and they don't have to get punished so hard at the start. At the start, they got punished very heavily by the Penny. This fed her a lot of splash. They they got punished very heavily by the Penny in the gate. A nice slow by Troy, and they managed to take that bush. And okay, very nice wall break and a punish onto the Surge. I think the Surge got only one shot out of that engagement, which is very good. Ash King also manages to win his lane against a Penny, which honestly the Penny should have won, at least gotten a lot of super out of. Troy is now holding that lane since it's open. It's a B. A B can be very good, but Shan is using that one small bit of cover to push up. And now Shan has his turret, which can be a game changer for final stand. It's just a 5-star lead, which can easily be taken by final stand. But the problem is that Abhishek does not have any stacks till now. And if they manage not to feed him, which they fed another shot but did get the kill. I'm not sure if Abhishek has a super now or not. Shan with a nice kill. If he manages to stay alive here, which he does, that's a very good play. Shan also manages to get the kill on Troy. And a nice stun onto the Griff. And I'm not sure how the Surge did not get his level in that interaction, but he somehow, okay, now he finally gets his level, but he dies instantly. So the lead still lies with Team Mystic or OK, but it's still anyone's game. But I feel like the map is opened up and a Griff on one side. But Shan with a nice kill, and I would say this is definitely a throw by Yash. But Ashkin with a jump, and Ashkin turns it around. And I don't think they should be losing now. A nice stun, but he dies. And now it is match point for OK. Will final stand be able to take this set back and equalize stuff, or will OK finish it all? There's win conditions for both teams. If Abhishek gets his level and Shan gets his turret, final stand win. If Mystic are able to open up the map properly without feeding the Surge Super, which they have not been able to do, now it's going to be very tough for Mystic. Abhishek already has a second stage, and a nice pinch by the B results in a kill for Mystic, and they get the lead. Now the Penny does not have her turret, and they have managed to open up one side. As I say that, Yash gets punished and the Penny gets her turret, and the lead shifts on to final stand. A nice stun which should have resulted in a kill, but Ash King manages to survive. But now it's going to be very hard for Team Mystic to push up since they have a Penny turret setup and control of both the sides of the map. They can push up from the right side, they have a B and a Griff in an open side, which is very possible, but Abhishek also got his third stage and now he can punish them even in range. Ari gets slowed, but he goes into cover and Yash is not able to punish him. The lead. Oh my god, wait, what? How did the lead shift onto? Okay, but somehow it did. I think Ash King made a play. So now Team Mystic is in the lead and Final Stand need to make the play, but the good news is that Abhishek has his third stage and Ari has a super. If Shan is able to get his super, I think they are looking very good for a comeback. Even if he doesn't, Abhishek goes in for a play, but he dies to Yash and Troy pinching. This is looking very bad for Final Stand. Will they get it? I don't think so. Mystic managed to break open the map and get the win and defeat Final Stand in this fourth place matchup. So we have OK finishing in third in this tournament and Final Stand with the fourth place. Blitz with the first place and Serenity Esports with the second place. Very well played to all the teams. It was a delight to cast this tournament. This was also my first cast, guys, and as I can listen from my voice, I feel like I was very bland. I can improve a lot, but it is what it is, I guess. So thank you for Claxon for hosting this tournament, and thank you to all the players for competing. I hope you all have fun. Have a nice day. Thank you.